Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the first round of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying Series. This evening, the action takes its way to Delaware. We're at iRacing's virtual Monster Mile, Dover Motor Speedway for tonight's action. You'll see it all here on Maconi Entertainment. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Maconi C-Fix Series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me once again in the booth is Arkham Menard Series racer Brayden Laster. Robbie Cooper is our producer for tonight's coverage of the top split for what should be a thrilling one for RTP and its 2024 Round 1 campaign. Brayden, so far we've raced at Daytona, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Richmond, and of course Texas last time. Variety of different lanes, variety of different driving styles. But tonight starts the gauntlet of round 1. 3 difficult racetracks that, well, don't have the same comparisons compared to the others. It starts with a short track, and its name just so happens to have Monster in it. Miles the Monster is going to be eating trucks tonight.
Now, there's nothing quite monstrous about this. You gotta look back at Texas last week. Not last week, but 2 weeks ago. Dirty Air was the name of the game. Completely different scenario tonight. Tire wear is gonna be the name of the game. Get Dirty Air out of here. We don't even care about air. You can have no front bumper, but if you don't have any front tires, that's going to hurt you. We're going to see guys going through the rubber as quick as they possibly can and putting on new sets every single opportunity they get. This track, very known in the Northeast as being one of the premier short tracks, coming at just about a mile. Very known in the NASCAR calendar. You see it on your screen there. Opened May 19th, 1969. 24 degrees of very abrasive banking and some hard concrete asphalt for these trucks. Don't wear those tires away. And 9 degrees of bank on the straightaways.
It should be a fun time to say the very least here for this one. We'll see how the drivers fare out here at the Mile Monstrosity here in Dover. Your race analysis brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. 120 laps and 120 miles on your docket. That's just shy of 200 kilometers. In our words, it's about a drive between Windsor, Ontario to London, Ontario. For those who know the drive, they know it very well. 3 green light checkers available. Open setups as usual in RTP. These are your top drivers, though, in iRating in the field tonight. 35 drivers. They'll have 4 tire sets available. Here's a look at the points coming in without the drop factored in. Brian Mercurio, Max Purdy, and Joe Armstrong have looked strong in their respective races so far. Blaze Crawford won at Texas last time out. He's just ahead of Andrew Navarro, Carson Bowers, and Johnny Avila, your top 7. Dalton England very quietly running well in the second split. Logan Clampett, he's still looking to break through for a victory. He broke through at a College Series win for the first time in a while earlier this month. And Brandon Hawken, the Canadian, in the 10th position. Of note, though, some of the projections coming into tonight. see some close locks when it comes to the top split race and when it comes to the cut line. Crawford, Mercurio, Navarro, Armstrong, and a couple others close to, if not just about, locked on points.
Then you mentioned a lot of drivers looking for their first win in the road to pro action here, especially top split. You want to win as much as you can, build as many points as you can, but winning top split, there's nothing like it. Clampett led 95% of the race at Texas a couple weeks ago, lost the last 100 feet to Blaze Crawford.
Let's take a look at the starters tonight as all drivers put up qualifying times tonight. And in turn, the speed in the 21.9s if you want to start in the pole tonight when it comes to Dover. Those drivers making their way to the racetrack quickly. Let's take a look. Logan Clampett, Quinton Warman on your pole front row tonight. Mercurio tied Warman on time, but didn't get the tiebreaker. He starts row 2 alongside Michael Frisch. There's those times to the nearest 10,000. Blaze Crawford comes into tonight starting in the top 5. Justin R. Smith in 6th. Daniel Smallwood, he's very lucky after Talladega week. He is the only driver below a 2.0 and 8 license entering this race. He's alongside Sean Conklin. Nathan Nicholson, Mitchell Dion, your top 10 for this field tonight.
Agnell Phillip going to be in 11th, and Andrew Navarro, we've talked about him quite a bit this season, in 12th. Sandra Nyhoff in 13th. Christopher M. Hill to his outside in 14th. Max Brady had a very solid run a couple of weeks ago, got that 11th at Texas, and celebrated with his good friend Blaze Crawford. Umar Diallo in 16th, Jake Nichols in 17th. Blake McCandless in 18th. Jake Matheson, we've seen him in victory lane once this season at Richmond, 19th. Michael Mitchum in 20th. Eugene has gone off the Russian rocket, 21st. Andrew Freenos in 22nd. Larry Pace, driver, been in top split all season long. I don't think he's had a finish inside the top 20. He's looking for a good run here tonight. Kevin King to his outside in 24th. Joseph Gulata in 25th, Brandon Hawkins in 26th, Jack Mace making his top split road to pro debut as well this season, 27th, Joe Blue at 28th, Christopher Pfeffer 29th, Casey Tucker 30th, Matthew Morton 31st, Connor Song 32nd, Philip Groner 33rd, and Matthew Batby and Dan Simoon running out the field. All drivers electing to take a time within about 3 tenths of each other.
That's what we'll talk about at your running over here tonight as we get all set to go. Now, before anyone has the question on certain schemes at that, Trade Paints just so happen to start maintenance at the exact same time as start time tonight. Also, there's new paint policy in effect. Be sure to submit your paint policies to Maconi Entertainment today. Your quick keys to victory to start just seconds away.
Tire wear, take care of tires. Don't spin them too much in these restarts. You gotta make 4 sets last.
Let's find out who makes the sets last. Let's find out who makes it through Miles the Monster. In control, it's Logan Clampett, and Clampett is off and away. Green flag is out. We're underway from Dover. Caution flag is out, back straight away already, and just like that, field bunched up for another restart. Sander Nyhoff this time going around one of the Nexus Esports and Front Row Motorsports back machines. That was his second hit in as many corners. Omar Diallo is the one who ups him around. He also got hit, the 30 did, on the initial start in the race.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just took the green flag. These tires are going to be as cold as they can be, so I don't think anyone really had any grip in their tires yet. And it's go time for a lot of these guys who want to make up spots as early as you can and fall back. And I think that's kind of a bad case scenario for space for a long time.
Yeah, remember, a lot of drivers had some problems. Navarro reported some drivers in front with damage. There's already damage on Nyhoff from the initial start. Just got very loose. It looks like cold tires. Yeah, just looped.
Yeah, loop-de-loop, around to go, and it happened so fast. Umar Diallo didn't really have a chance to change his line. At that point, you're in the middle towards the edge of the corner. You already got your line picked. You can't really change the trajectory without risking, the own integrity of the race truck. And Diallo had no choice really but to run into the back of Nyhoff there, and I don't think he even really drove through him. I mean, he checked up as much as he could, and Nyhoff was just going around no matter what.
So let's talk about the race characteristics expected tonight. Dover, obviously one of the more challenging tracks on the schedule for round 1. Short track that's had concrete as its surface since, well, 1995. The track temperature around 97 degrees. That's around the average throughout the week, as expected here. But with this track, it's high speed, it's high throttle control. If you mess up any point of these corners tonight, you could be quickly getting ran over.
That's definitely, you talk about high speed, high throttle control. It's high risk, if anything. You can gain a lot in restarts. You can be very risky. You can make moves on the outside. You can go down low. This track is known for its multi-groove racing, especially with the recent asphalt or pavement refresh. So the concrete makes it, I feel like, very abrasive. It's hard to maintain tires, and that's where you're going to see a lot of guys come into play if we're able to get a long run in. But that's a big if, is getting that long run in. We've seen on the short tracks, the C6 side of things and the road to pro side of things, we might have a really good, race and go good, 40, 50 laps, green flag run, or it might be like this, we're going to wreck on every single restart. And at that point, the more and more you wreck, the more and more restarts you have, the more anxious everyone gets. It's just a terrible cycle to get going through. And hopefully we're able to get some green flag racing and see who's able to save their tires better than others.
So Logan Clampett, for a second straight race, starting things off on a dominant note. Remember, he nearly won the race at Texas, leading the most laps then. Lost on the final lap in a drag race with Blaze Crawford. We'll see how he makes up for it this time around.
Yeah, definitely looking for some redemption. We just mentioned it. Led 95% of the race, 95 laps out of 100 at Texas. Led all but the last 100 feet, basically, without Blaze Crawford to get around him. Dirty air was a huge factor at Texas, too. I don't think we're going to really see that come into play tonight. It's going to be more about tire wear.
Just about ready to get back underway. Clampett, Warman, Mercurio, and Michael P. Frisch still in your top four here. Blaze Crawford in fifth. Daniel Smallwood for Legacy up in the top six for the initial setup for our restart. Everyone's still in the race despite the spin early on. No one lost the lead lap early on this one. It's Clampett in control. Green flag waves. Clampett well went away. Remember, restart zones at the short tracks not in effect for tracks like tonight. In turn, Clampett getting a massive jump for a second straight start.
That Clampett already has a 2 or 3 tenth advantage through 1 and 2 over Quentin Warman. Frisch, though, getting a little close to the wall. I think he might have right reared a little bit. They're going to see it a lot tonight. Guys start to wash up. But they're going to be 2, almost 3 wide here for 7th. Sean Compton, Blaze Crawford, and Justin R. Smith.
Already that line of side by side is going to be difficult for some to get through. Conklin still running that bottom. He's in the 9 truck. Outside, Justin R. Smith. Mitchell DeYoung getting slid up and checked up as well. A lot of discussions over the radio in the midst of traffic behind them. That includes drivers getting very coiled behind the Russian rocket, Eugene Mozganov.
Yeah, a lot of guys just trying to get in a single file line, play it calm, play it cool, and play it collective for the early going to this race. Is Christopher Hill, though, trying to lead an outside charge. One of the first guys on the outside trying to sneak into the top 10. Everyone else in the top 10 for the most part, though, running single file.
Now, getting passes done is going to be very difficult tonight. It should be expected. When keeping an eye on the SOF race in the fixed setup for reference, bottom line, the preferred line to make moves, but the double diamond with the truck, not as prevalent, but is still technically there. You need to wrap the bottom to be able to keep the tires underneath you.
With some twos, you won't be able to have a nice clean exit, especially off of turn 2. You're going to see a lot of guys start to wash up here a little bit off of turn 2, get into the wall, and you can normally recover and recoup, and you'll keep the truck going straight, have a little damage, a little scrape down the right side of your truck, but you hit it a little too hard, and you're going spinning down the back stretch, and you get T-boned, you'll hit the wall a little too hard, and that's the night over.
Still taking a look at the Hornet's Nest breaking up. Egno Phillip as Blake McCandless underneath. Same for the battle going on between Mitchum and Navarro. Now, for those wondering, why is Blake McCandless cheering on a hockey team? Well, he does work in the Raleigh-Durham area. Remember, does a lot of broadcasts for the Charlotte Checkers as well. They're busy in the midst of their postseason. It's 3 wide behind him, though, near contact. Watching on board inside, a cutout from Mitchum. And that was near contact for the EPI truck.
And Navarro barely squeezing clear himself. Mitchum gonna get loose right in front of Navarro. Navarro gonna put him 3 wide one more time across the line. Still 3 wide going to one. Agno Phillip going out of the gas. Let these two go on by and kind of sort it out on their own terms. Battle for, I believe it's 13th or 14th right here between Navarro and Mitchum. I don't know how Navarro cleared himself the last time. About took the bumper off of Mozganov as well. And Navarro looking for a clean run. early leader in the point standings for the first couple of races, and then had 2 really bad weeks back-to-back at Richmond, Texas, looking for a good top 20 run here tonight.
Yeah, already a -3 for Navarro on the race. Has not had the best of restart speed so far. The long run speed is the critical part of a race like this tonight. Speaking of the short to mid run, at least, Logan Clampett is trying to run away. He's up by 7/10. He gained a 10th last time on Warman.
And you want to be careful not to pull out too far ahead. We kind of saw that game happen a couple weeks ago at Texas. And so far, he seems to be the early favorite to win, but we're going to see this long run kind of start to come into a huge factor. The tires, especially in a couple of laps, see how this one plays out. Who's saving their tires a little bit better. And, you know, we mentioned dirty air not being a huge factor. Having that clean air definitely helps, but definitely nowhere near as a huge playing or key part as much as Texas was.
Hold on with the Ryko truck. Warman trying to lead the war path here. You almost have to wonder if he's just trying to save. Try and keep the tires underneath. Because remember, the harder you push, the more potential. Hold on, we got a caution. Andrew Navarro and company around. It's in turn 4. Philip Groner involved. And friends are being made here. It's just the wrong type of friends.
Yeah, this is going to stem from that battle we were looking at a couple laps ago. I believe we're going to have our first mechanical DNFs for sure from this one. This is a hard hit by Andrew Navarro.
This might be a drop week. Yeah, that's contact and a correction back up. That was with Michael Mitchum. And nowhere to go for everyone else.
See, we mentioned it, you know, with these tight racing, these tight corners. One mistake, you bobble, you roll down the track, you get T-boned. And Navarro's race was definitely over at that point. But, you know, sorry, going in the race for Philip Groner and a couple others too. At least some heavy damage riding on board there with Groner. There's nobody can go. I mean, goes up in the wall, and that just all happened so quick. And you got cars in front of it. There's nowhere, you know, can really anticipate to go.
Center Nyhoff nearly joined the fun as well again. And we're under caution on lap 16. No surprise, pit stop time. And everybody saying, what are pit boxes when you can just drive this way? Remember, if you're in the Coke Series, this is a penalty for everybody.
But we're not in the Coke Series. These guys are trying to get there. Some trying to get back. Some are trying to make their debut. So, I mean, might as well break the rules if we still can. Something too to think about this track is the way the banking kind of incorporates itself around this track. You see, mainly at short track, it's not a huge deal as much as, you know, you go to Texas a couple weeks ago or Daytona, where the pit road is pretty much straight down the front stretch. When you have the pit road, it kind of wraps around the corners. Having that shorter line through pit road, especially through the corners, is technically quicker. So getting a little bit quicker, running that bottom line of pit road, you can make up, you know, a couple tenths here and there. And a couple tenths here and there is everything.
So the entire field tries to test some limits. Michael Mitchum did not find his pit stall. His pit stall was one of those everyone just ran through. But outside of that, it was Logan Clampett who had the race up pit road. Everybody expect to take 4 tires tonight unless there's a short run. Mitchum likes to come in here. Now, the interesting thing will be how long drivers can stretch the runs. At the very least, the 33 will not be able to make it on fuel. The tires, in the fixed side at least, go up to about 70 laps. The fuel, about 75 to 80. Those are some windows to think about when it happens.
Well, not just tires, that it can run, you know, 56 lap old tires, but if you get a caution at any point, run will come down as much as you can and try and get some fresh rubber, because the difference you're going to see guys running is going to be huge. Looking at Clampett's pole time with a 21.9, he was running in 23 seconds, so over a second of fall off in just 7 or 8 green flag laps of racing there already. So the tire fall off is going to be huge for these guys managing it, and I don't think 2 tires is really going to work unless you get a really short run. So they're going to be interesting to see some guys. So try and conserve a little bit later than most, considering they've already used 1 set and they only have 3 more left in pitch for over 100 laps of racing.
Andrew Navarro, the 1 meatball flag so far in the field tonight. He is 3 laps down. Philip Groner has also parked it for the night. So we already have our first DNFs from our second caution. But it's the eNASCAR College Series driver and former Coke Series driver looking to make a return. Logan Clampett in control. Warman to the outside. And yet again, Off and away. Inside line. Good launch. Clamp it. Well clear. Warman having a battle. Michael P. Frisch.
Yeah, normally everyone's side by side or single file on a restart, but not this time. Frisch and Warman side by side coming off of turn 2. Warman squeezing up into the wall. He's going to pull away from Frisch, carrying that outside momentum. He's got Brian Mercurio, though, to his outside, trying to steal that third position from Michael P. Frisch.
Able to pull it on well defensively. Some good defense from some of these drivers. Daniel Smallwood, you see from the back viewpoint of Mercurio, having his best run in a race so far. He hasn't had good qualifying runs. Tonight has been a change, though, for the Legacy machine. And he's showing if you give him track position, he can keep it.
Yeah, average start of 21.4, only one top 10 finish this season. So running inside the top 5 here, definitely a great run for Smallwood, currently plus 190 to the cutoff bubble. So running here would definitely seal the deal as far as locking himself into the final round. And just getting here, running behind Mercurio, finding your pace, setting it. I think Clamp, though, on the other hand, is trying to raise the bar, make you guys go out and burn the tires. I think he knows he has a great race truck. I don't think he's expecting a long run, so he's out here burning up his rubber as fast as he can.
Buffalo right now up to nearly 6'10", single file most of the field. Some of that starting to build a part of the field. Jack Mace, first time in top split this season. He's been also contender for the RTP top driver in second split much of the year. Right now, it's a battle with teammates behind him, Batby and Morden. Here's the look from Morden in particular. The Nexus machines expecting some confidence levels to pick up. They've shown some good speed we've seen all year from that camp.
Yeah, this is kind of the do or don't time for a lot of these guys in the season. You can really start to build a good run. Guys can drop off of the season here. So you want to build as many points as you can, build a good run, especially carry the momentum, hopefully in round 2. So good run here in round 5. Only 8 races. A bad run would definitely ruin the season, but a good run here would definitely be a good start to some great things.
There's a look once again at the viewpoints of the battle. This time it's from Batby, who's picking up some ground. Originally started 34th in the field. He's been able to recover from a poor qualifying run. Him and a lot of his teammates did not have the Q trim in it. But there is the saying, right? Doesn't matter if you started first, if you finished 35th.
Yeah, exactly. Looking back at our previous winners, only one winner this entire season has started even inside the top 5, 2 of them inside the top 10. Brian Mercurio started second in Atlanta, currently started third, currently running that 4th spot. So, I mean, you look at these guys, not a whole lot of them started towards the front. Average starting spot of the winner this season in top split, 13.4.
That's a combination, by the way, from Mozganoff, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon's suit. Some people would say it was blasphemous. I think someone would say in the Hendrick camp, but Mozganoff, he's making some cuts too. He's up now 8 positions after the move on pace. Now next up, the team's Kevin King.
You want to talk about someone not having a great run. Joel blew it. His internet has blew it. Missed Daytona, so that was already his cut week and was sitting 100 points below the cutoff. He has lost connection to the session and as of now is joining the Varro and Philip Groner on the DNF list.
And that might be RTP done, unfortunately, for Blewett, unless he gets a lot of wins in a row all of a sudden. It's hard to come back from multiple troubles like that. Now, it's worth noting amongst the cut line, most of the top split drivers are not in the bubble conversation with the top 70 at the moment. Your bubble conversation with the drop was Dylan Pettis and Cade McClellan coming in. David L. Brown, 3 out. Robbie Verriel Jr. from Windsor, Ontario in 6 out. I should say 6 points out from being in the window. And as they settle through, we have problems with lap traffic. Justin R. Smith just got bumped out of the way by 9th, I should say, by Mitchell DeYoung.
DeYoung try and get up through the field, get inside and solidify that pace inside the top 10. You see that battle going on right in front of him. Nathan Nicholson, he talked about that cutoff bubble there. Nicholson's a driver that's been in top split this entire season, currently 54 points below the bubble. So he needs a really good run and so far having definitely one of his better runs of the season. Had that 3rd at Texas a couple weeks ago. Now it's his first top 20 finish since Atlanta.
A lot being considered when it comes to this now, you'd have to think. A lot of drivers getting some bump and runs. It's almost like the paperclip of Martinsville, but instead we're at Miles the Monster where it makes everybody pay. You know who's doing well though and making sure the speed's backed up? Crawford's still in 6th. He has a teammate, Nathan Nicholson, for North Force behind him.
I just talked about Nicholson needing a really good run, try and build some points and close closer to that bubble if we can. Being in the top split, a couple good runs here definitely solidify that. Especially we got guys, in the high single-digit splits in front of you, so a lot easier to build points that way for sure. So Nicholson trying to build towards that bubble and be on the safe side. Especially, you talked about the schedule earlier in the show. We got Darlington and Charlotte, two tracks that are vastly different from one another. Very technical, especially in the truck, so some of these drivers don't have some difficulties maneuvering around there.
Back to what's going on in terms of the save game here. 23-8s from the main pack, 23-7s from Clampett. You have to think the save is on, right? Whether it's trying to stretch the run a bit or better yet, just not pop a tire. Nobody is willing to pass Warman, if anything. This looks like the entire field saying, let's save unless you make a mistake. In other words, Mitchell Dion will make sure you lose a spot, just like what just happened at the back of this group.
I mean, Clampett has over a second and a half lead to Warman and the rest of that pack, so there's no point really trying to go out there and trying to catch Clampett. Most of you guys feel like are content running single file inside the top 10, and you'll look at that battle or that gap from 10th to 11th is over a second as well between Christopher King and Kevin King, or Christopher Hill and Kevin King, my apologies. So a lot of these guys in the top 10 is kind of chilling.
Strategy of waiting seems to have burst. You see single file back, but Michael Frisch, just in the flash you've seen, did try and make a move for second. So some of the drivers are starting to get impatient. You see in this main group, Crawford now having to get around Smallwood here. And now that's costing them some time. Crawford not able to clear yet. Smallwood does not want to give it up. He's nearing the wall. Here comes Nicholson.
Guys trying to make up some time, make up some spots. Nicholson too wide side by side. That's Daniel Smallwood to his outside. Still side by side. Coming off before going, walks up into Smallwood. Into the wall they go. Everyone able to keep it going straight. Sean Conklin to the bottom, but Daniel Smallwood is going to lose a ton of time and a ton of spots.
Daniel's not going to be happy with that one. What's the saying? If you lift, it's fine. If not, you get this. It's trouble. This time it's Christopher M. Hill, a former teammate, turning him around. Caution flag is out as the second pack slams in.
We've got a mini big one here at Dover. Kind of replica, same spot, same place as the first wreck we saw. As the first big one, the Smallwood getting turned there. This is going to set up for a pretty, I feel like, different pit strategy for some of these guys, but we're going to get a replay here, see what happened.
Yeah, even with the pinch, Smallwood was looking okay on a recovery. Just got pinched up on the wall in a game of chicken. The bigger question is, what happened with Christopher M. Hill?
Yes, he saw the contact there with Nicholson coming off of 4, squeezed him up, and he's falling back, and Hill to his inside just keeps coming up. I don't know if he was going to try to slide behind him, and then here comes the second pack, and a lot of heavy damage to some of these guys, including Justin R. Smith. We talked about him a little bit ago, so he's going to be done for the night in terms of competitive. Matthew Batby had to shove himself in the wall and still got some heavy damage. So a lot of these guys not having too good of middle portion of this race.
On board, this is Hill, the Alta C Sports truck. Yeah, he was just crooked on the straightaway. There's not much else you could say.
Don't know, but he had the wrong steering offset. He wasn't used to being side by side, and no one tried to lean on these guys. But even going like down to the corner, I feel like he should have at least started to turn down a little bit earlier, so not to wash up in the guy that's outside there. So not really sure what the strategy was there by Hill.
You know what the strategy game just spit out, though? Everybody on 4 tires, obviously. But you know what also it means? Remember that 80-lap fuel mark? If it goes green, it could be a fuel race, a fuel mileage race, and a tire mileage race at the same time.
We have seen meatballs before due to a blown necessary tire. It's not kind of like you see on TV where a tire goes flat and the car just can't handle itself. They do get pretty loose and pretty undrivable, but iRacing will force you to pit if you get that tire wear below 0. Most of these guys, though, that we're talking about, this is the top 0.05% of oval iRating ranked drivers. Most of the guys have a lot of experience with tire wear, but 80 laps around Dover is a tall task.
So the one to go signal on the racetrack next time by, and our lap on the pace truck. Reminder that tonight's coverage also has a sister network for tonight for FTN. For those curious on what's going on in Second Split, FTN is your source for that. And Second Split's had some intense racing as well to first of all touch upon. Give credit to a lot of the work they put in on that camp. One of the drivers who was in the eNASCAR Coco iRacing series, Daniel Falkingham, on the call once again for that one.
Gotta love Daniel Falkingham. Everyone loves Daniel Falkingham.
I'm the only one I think who hasn't interacted with Falkingham too much outside of the broadcast sense yet.
One of the greatest things about Daniel that I don't think a lot of people realize is he actually sits crooked to his monitor. So he's like at like a 25-degree angle. I'm not even kidding when I say it's like he sits crooked so that like his pedals are diagonal to his monitor and his head is just like tilted to the left.
Are you saying crooked or cricket?
Crooked.
Okay. But to update the scoring, they're also under caution. Exact same lap timing right now. Carson Bowers is currently leading that respective split. And is getting ready for a restart themselves over there. Bowers amongst those also looking for a lock for the final two races, depending on what happens here. Logan Clampett in control for the restart. Warman, Mercurio, Frisch the top four. Crawford still in the top five. Already intense fuel save before the green flag. It's going to get tight on how close the margin is on fuel if they don't get another caution.
And so far, it's been the Logan Clampett only show. See if he has any guess this time around. I think he'll have to back his pace up a little bit. We'll see if anyone can join him up front.
Well set for the restart. Currently, 4 drivers out of the race. Smallwood, Blewett, Navarro, and Groner. Smallwood and Navarro, meatball flags. Groner parked it after the crash he had. Blewett, technical issues. Green, 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 back it away. Yet again, Clampett's gone. And yet again, the battle's on for second. This time, the challenger for second, Brian Mercurio.
Mercurio already a winner in the top split action this season, one of the only winners to even start into the top 10. Currently inside that podium position, though, side by side with Warman, still side by side through 3 and 4. We saw us play out with Frisch and Warman last time around, and so far it's not working too great for Mercurio, going to fall back to third.
No one's been able to pass Warman on the restarts quite yet, but you know what else? Gone back and forth. The Ryko truck inside has been able to make some moves, and Conklin, Crawford this time, able to hold serve for now. Look who's closing up. Mitchell DeYoung from Coeda. He's on the run, and he's using the top side to make the inroads this time. Conklin gets turned into the wall. DeYoung hits him. Damage for DeYoung. A blown motor behind. Caution flag is out. Mozganov gets crashed, and it's another big one in the pack.
I was getting ready to mention, not only is he using the top side, also using that front bumper. We've seen him kind of bump and run a couple guys throughout this season, and bump and run gone wrong there with Conklin. That's going to end the race. A lot of guys. Mozganov was up about 13 spots as well.
And remember, DeYoung was trying to pass high side. No one expects that at Dover.
No, not this early. You saw him in that red number 3 truck. He's running outside. Conklin kind of comes up, sees the run that DeYoung had, and try to block him. I mean, they're single file, bumper to bumper to bumper, not a foot between each truck. And I mean, at that point, a slight stack up causes, you know, a huge stack up, and McCandless in the back bumper has gone off, and has gone off. Unfortunately, goes racketeering down there into the inside wall.
Yeah, remember, DeYoung had used the top to follow Crawford before, picked up that trait. Nowhere to go for Mozganov. Blake McCandless also picked up some contact there. And that ends up bringing us back under caution. Mozganov, the only meatball flag. Here's another look. Mozganov in the 7. Take a listen. Canellis with the contact behind, heart of the field.
That's Hill sliding into him. A couple other guys as well. So some front end damage for Christopher Hill. She'll be able to keep on going. Everyone else not 100% sure on their status, but Zganov definitely going to need some much required repairs joining Daniel Smallwood, Joel Blewett, and Navarro and Philip Groner on pit road. So 5 drivers so far. I don't want to say they're out for the count, as Navarro and Groner are still actually on, not Groner, but Navarro is still on pit road trying to salvage some points and salvage a run.
It's to the point where Logan is now playing with the pace car driver. Fred Jones, once again, pace car driver for tonight. And for every iRacing sim, he's the all-time lap-led leader if you include every single pace lap in the history of iRacing. Currently having a little bit of fun there. But it ends up causing heavy fuel save for the upcoming restart here. A lot of clutching and coasting. Take a look at the dash. Everybody's doing it because of how close this is now going to be.
It'll be interesting too. I don't think anyone came down and took tires. I'm double checking. Yeah, no one in the top 25 came down and took tires. We're going to have to go all the way down to about 26th, 27th. We got guys still coming down. Brandon Hawkins, he's getting some damage fixed on the lap though, but Agnell Phillip getting some damage in fuel. Justin R. Smith as well, I believe he's a lap down. Casey Tucker also came down and got some fuel. So that might be a winning difference for some of these guys.
If you're towards the back, it's a thought, too, of why not. Some of those drivers you mentioned do have damage. They are also dealing with a hotter track temp as the in-sim time approaches near 3 o'clock now. Expecting 1 to go next time by. As we continue to pace here, a huge shout-out to Blake McCandless because last night, Blake McCandless held one of the biggest charity races that's built up on iRacing. The Rockingham 508 Sport Charity. Dale Jr. Foundation, once again, the sporting group. Multiple different real-world NASCAR drivers and multiple featured eNASCAR competitors taking part in the charity race. That puts in a ton of work in the first place. It's one of several charity efforts Blake McCandless has put in by holding racing events to raise awareness, but also raise funds for said charities.
Now, McCandless definitely a great guy on the platform and a role model to many. So the McCandless name, definitely a well-known throughout the platform, and just like you mentioned there, putting together charity races and all kinds of events like that. So he's gonna be definitely one to watch too. Up 11 spots, but all-around great guy.
Garrett Conrad, for reference, won that race, a 200-lap run to close it in the 1987 cars. Strong event. Once again, just shout out once again to the efforts put in on the charity front by McCandless as he continues his RTP front. Still above the cut line. Drivers in the field, meanwhile, coming to 72 laps to go. Restart this time by. Clampett's led them all so far. Warman's in second. He's been in second this whole time. Mercurio and Frisch, your top 4. Crawford and Conklin, McCandless and Dion. Jake Matheson, your winner from Richmond, up to 9th. Nathan Nicholson is still in the top 10. Should be an interesting restart once again. No one's been able to pass Warman off the restarts yet. Clampett, expect him to launch in 3, 2, 1. He's really going to hold to make sure I'm off on the count. There he goes. His longest restart wait all day.
I gotta applaud the effort there, JP. Clampett, though, trying to change his strategy up, caught you and me off guard, as well as the rest of the field, I think. But that's going to allow Warman and Mercurio to be side by side here for second. Mercurio using the inside advantage we wanted to and take second from Warman for the first time tonight.
And that really absolutely helped Mercurio, as you mentioned. Warman now having to go on the offensive here, while also in the midst of a fuel save. Looks like Frisch looking to join his teammate to the inside. Now it's a move forward by the North Force machines. Frisch getting a little bit tight. Warman got the run, though.
Warman try and build that buffer back up to Mercurio. He's got Frisch going to get tight in 3 and 4 down in the corner. Come down in front of Conklin. Able to get the drive off them. Close up a little bit to Warman as well. So Clampett about half second advantage so far to Brian Mercurio. They're side by side here in the top 10.
Canales now is the inside of Crawford. Trying to get a little run, not yet. Back to the inside, but Crawford using the outside. The outside, I think if there's a trust factor in, is going to be bigger and bigger as the run goes at the rate it's going. We've seen with the Yun. It's contact, but in the heart of the pack, a lot of people are trying to get that to work. Diallo and multiple others are staying up there and preferring it compared to the bottom.
Well, I think the insides are starting to stack up so much. Everyone's trying to conserve a little bit here and there. It's causing the field to be a lot closer. You know, we previously had a second half buffer from 10th to 11th, and it's nowhere near like that. So everyone's kind of stacking up on the bottom. You can use that outside to build momentum and build a run and pass a couple trucks here and there. So I think that's what's different this time around.
Already some apologies in that grouping 2 from Larry Pace in 4. So a lot of people getting a lot of checked up. There's Pace. He's worked on the box for a couple drivers in the Coke Series before. Still in the midst of the bottom line drop effect as he slots in behind Mitchum and goes straight to the clutch pedal.
Guys try and save fuel. Like I mentioned, I think it's causing a stack-up effect. Some guys, we mentioned those guys that pitted a little bit later than the other guys that previous cost, and they're going to be able to go a little bit harder for a little bit longer, not necessarily save as hard or maybe not at all.
Those wondering about the pace so far. 23 flats at the front of the field, fastest lap of the race, and the 22.6 by Clampett. Clampett still the dominant driver approaching the halfway point of this race. It leads to the obvious question, can anybody beat Logan?
I mean, looking at the gap, it's been pretty consistent right at or under that half-second margin for the last couple laps. Typically, on previous restarts, he'd be a second plus to Warman company by now. So I think Mercurio is trying to, close up that gap, make Clampett push a little bit harder, but I think Clampett might be backing up his pace a little bit too. For anyone wondering if those are any different strategies, Sandra Nyhoff, Casey Tucker, Agnell Phillip, and Brandon Hawkins, of those on the lead lap are still the last 4 trucks on the lead lap despite having more fuel. So they're maybe just running a little more conservatively, or that extra damage isn't helping them at all.
Just as we approach the halfway point, let's keep an eye on the battles here. Reminder that tonight's action brought to you in part by iRacing. Pilots are trained to abide countless professional drivers, including several in this field. iRacing is unrivaled as a racing simulator because its creators have managed to capture every last car and track detail, recreate them in a package perfectly encapsulating the feeling behind the wheel of a race car, pushes mechanical limits on courses to try, design, test the driver's mental acuity, and more. And the industry agrees. Visit iRacing.com to sign up and become a member today. Just about halfway point in this one. Just Brandon Laster with you. Bradley Cooper, our producer, once more. As we keep an eye on the battles in the mid-pack. Munsell's trying to run the bottom this time. That's Christopher Hill, who's dropped back several spots this run. Larry Pace high side. Connor Shawn also making some moves as a result. As we continue to see the difference between those who are being aggressive despite the tightness on tires and fuel, and those who are being cautious.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's being cautious, but I'll tell you, he's really starting to dislike how realistic iRacing is. I'm sure that's Brian Mercurio. We talked about him able to keep up that same gap to Logan Clampett right at or under a half second, but he's fallen off over a tenth and a half the last couple laps by. So Clampett cruising to about 8/10, 9/10 lead, right at 0.826 at last time by, and then a second, or 1.3 seconds to Quentin Warman in third. So the realism, the concrete is absolutely eating away at these tires, and some of these guys are really starting to feel the effects of that.
It almost feels like, at least the sense I get from a performance like this from Clampett, already leading an entire half of the race. He's already just secured the most laps led, already 61 complete. After being so close and yet to get a victory in RTP top split action, you almost have to think, I want to get this over with. I want to get the W in dominant fashion here. It seems like he's trying to put on a statement and is currently succeeding.
I mean, look at his stats. He's definitely a definition of records and checkers. 2 second place finishes, then 2 20, 30 place finishes, and then 12th. So, I mean, he's definitely been either I'm going to go for it, I'm going to win, or, well, guys, we'll get him again next week. He's not as high up in the points. He's, 11th right now, but 260 to cutoff, so that's pretty respectable. But looking for that first one that can mention, I think a lot of drivers, they want to win in Road to Pro. Winning in top split is a whole different story. And Clampett the past couple weeks has been the guy to beat. Just hasn't been able to get the job done. And it's kind of shades of Texas. I mean, he's led every lap so far, and hopefully doesn't have the same heartbreak, but I think it'd be definitely quite as worse if he doesn't end up winning this.
Kevin King amongst those fighting here. The eNASCAR veteran from the 2010s also returned to Coke action with Junior Motorsports a couple years ago. looking to return back to that route. He's been doing a solid job here tonight, but lost a lot of track position in the midst of the strategy shuffle. He's stuck alongside Larry Pace for 17th at the moment. Michael Mitchum just in front.
A lot of guys running side by side or single file, trying to kind of calm themselves down, or it's go time for someone. Max Brady, one of them too, just got in the wall right in front of this Kevin King pack. So a lot of guys are starting to move up. See King being one of the few drivers on the bottom now. Guys starting to move up and run that middle and outside line.
I have to majorly think this has to be in part with the rubber, but also just the ebbs and flows. It's a momentum-based vehicle, mind you. Stock cars with the truck. There's a ton of rubber buildup at the bottom. And a lot of people figured out you pinch from the top, you can defend.
Well, you gotta look at the characteristics of these race trucks here. About 650 horsepower. They weigh a ton, about 3,400, 3,450 pounds, if I'm correct there, and 112 inch wheelbase too. So they're not very easy to turn, especially when you got 24 degrees of banking. That it helps you out quite a bit, but we're still trying to wheel and deal. It's only a 10, 12 inch tire, 3,400 pounds around a short track here at 150, 160 miles an hour. So it's definitely very abrasive, very technical, very difficult in these trucks and tires.
Conklin this time losing the spot after initially playing good defense on Crawford. Crawford able to get the pass inside. So the tire differential is starting to really come in for some. The fall off is already up to near 2 seconds. Remember, the best drivers usually plateau at 2 seconds, if not 2.2 on the short tracks. Some people are hitting the fall off curve a lot harder than others.
Well, you talk about the fall-off curve. Actually, last time Brian Mercurio was a little bit quicker, not by much. Actually, now that last time just at a 10th. So Mercurio is starting to close up a little bit. Clamp, I think, burnt up and stuff a little too early to try and build a lead. But as far as lap times, everyone's within a couple of tenths of each other. So those that were really fast in the early run are starting to fall off, and those that saved their stuff, they're starting to build some momentum, make some passes here, and the longest run we've seen all night.
50 laps to go in this one here for RTP, the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. Let's check in on Jack Mace on his first start this season in Top Split. He's been stuck in place, one of those running, and has been bounced around, in fact, by a couple groups. He has landed now with Team Conti the rest of the way, and trying to build a lot of expectations. For him, by the way, it's about 2-3 a.m.
Yeah, we also see Mace quite a bit over on the C-Fix side of things. One of the favorites there, and typically all-around competitive, and whether he's doing a league race or an official race. And the trucks definitely seem to be his bread and butter. He's competitive on almost every outing the C-Fix. So same truck, same style of racing. So I think that's kind of what allows him to go in here and have some good runs.
Whoa, that was a crossover and a block. Andrew Freenosh of Elliott Sauer Esports slams the door right in the face of Matthew Morton. Mace says, you know what, I'm just going to go underneath the door.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to bring up. Like, you see him not really scared to make moves. You see these guys stumble in front of him. He's going to send it to the bottom, and one of the few guys running the bottom. Highlight of his season, it's been 2 top 5s, one at Atlanta, one at Texas in that second split. So, like you mentioned all night, making his top split debut, and so far running just outside the top 1.
Bad news for Mitchell DeYoung's campaign. Mitchell DeYoung, who already had a 0 to its name before tonight, out of the race. Technical issues. This is disaster for the Coanda camp, at least for him. Zach Campbell from Coanda also was amongst those entering tonight with a blank for his drop. So a lot to think about for the Coanda camp as DeYoung has a tech issue.
DeYoung are already taking that drop week earlier in the season with 428 points below the bubble, and this is not the way he wanted the night go. It's going to be his first top 10, maybe second top 15 at least. And that's probably going into his road to pro hopes. That's able to put a really, really strong back-to-back run at Darlington and Charlotte.
It can be difficult to make a run a second time through the ladder, you have to argue. The first time he made it through, 2020 was a big factor on how he got the opportunity to get time to run. It's understandable why he had to move away with the Porsche Taycan Esports Super Cup. But the second go-around and the third go-around, outside of maybe looking clamping at a couple others, it's tricky because you have to be good in 3 different sessions of seasons to be able to move forward in 2 car types.
Yeah, so far tonight, definitely we talked about moving up through the field, high starting spot by far, and you can tell he's favorite to this track and liked it a lot and was moving through the field to easy peasy. Might have used the front bumper a little bit, but looking to be his best run. Being able to adapt to that is what makes a lot of guys great, and others struggle here and there. Different track types, different concrete types. Have a different patch throughout the season, kind of change the driving style, and some of them adapt better than others. But so far, Mercurio and Clampett have built a pretty sizable gap to each other, and then Mercurio to Warman over second.
Oh, look at this. Some trouble front straightaway. Some haze over the radio. Sean Conklin has fallen apart. He hit the wall after Nathan Nicholson fed him the door, and everybody's getting bunched up as a result. Into the face of him goes Larry Pace. Inside, Omar Diallo.
They got 5 trucks here under a blanket. Mitchum, Conklin, Pace, Diallo, and Pfeffer. There's Pace trying to move around the outside. He's going to make it around Diallo. Conklin though, the back bumper of Pace. I'm sorry, Diallo trying to get him, tell him to go time.
They're running out of time to go time with 40 laps to go this upcoming time by. Pretty clear though. Patience levels are fading away, and now the top thing, the 9 has damage. Up in 5th is Crawford. The lead pack has fallen apart a touch. He, Frisch, and Warman have lost about 2 seconds of these two. Mercurio and Clampett. Frisch wants to go, it looks like. Warman is trying to maintain. Clampett trying to maintain the bottom.
Mercurio has found something. He's running up by the wall, practicing green 4, able to get a great exit. Frisch goes side by side to Warman for 3rd, trying to steal that spot. Like I mentioned, it's go time for him, not hesitating at all. Sees the door open, seals it, and shuts it. But Mercurio is trying to run the top, build momentum off the corner, close that gap to Clampett. So far, he's right at 6/10.
Mercurio with that diamond line, doing really strong down the front straightaway in particular. There's the term, the double diamond, right? In terms of how you drive it with the Cup and Xfinity Series machines. Well, with these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series machines, people have found that different way to do it. And it's coming in right in prime condition for Mercurio to make it a fight late.
Now Mercurio closing up a little bit here and there, losing a little bit there and here. So able to carry about 5 or 6 miles an hour faster than local fan, but down the straightaway, that's different by running the top line, building momentum, but you lose it a little bit in the corner by running a more wider line and recovering more distance. Still about 0.65 though over 6/10 though the lead a bit, and they got about 2 seconds to Michael Frisch and Warman in 3rd.
You can see him in full focus to close the gap. For those wondering why his driver's suit is those color schemes tonight, well, it is the NFL draft tonight. He is from the New York region and is a Jets fan. In other words, he's probably wearing a Jets sweater right now and saying, this is the reason I'm a rocket ship for again this season.
Probably hoping they pick a good quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. They have it.
Oh, yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later. That's a whole different discussion. Mercurio, though, settling for that second spot, losing a little bit of pace, but able to so far keep it about 6/7/10, trying to change it up a little bit. Running almost like a dirt track, changing his line in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, now he's trying to counter. It looks like take away the clean air, take away the preferred line when it comes to Mercurio. But we have an interesting note. Pit stops underway. Dan Chamoun, one of the Nitro trucks, saying, I've got to come in. He was running 21st.
This might play and force the hand of a lot of these guys, making them come down, change up their strategy. They're going to lose a couple of laps here under green by pitting just because of how quick the lap times are. Don't know the exact number, at least a lap and a half though. It's going to be interesting to see, but they're going to be a fairly quicker. So these guys are 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds slower than fresh tire pace. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays into effect.
It's going to get tight amongst some of the errors, including around here. Jack Mace just had contact behind him into the wall. Andrew Freenosh trying to use the outside to his advantage. And this is almost a adaptability point. You expect the pass to come inside. But at this point, every pass seems to be working outside. Freenosh, one of the top drivers from the League C, now getting a push. Larry Pace Quinton Warman, the leaders are coming in this time by. Strategy is on with the 2-second fall off. Clampett staying out, but more coming in.
Very tight pit road entry here. Warman trying to slow it down, makes it clean all right. Doesn't have to wall or anything. But these guys side by side behind them, you got Larry Pace and Pfeffer coming down. They're able to slow their trucks down and get about 35 mile an hour pit road speed. It's going to be about, talking to our out of race analyst here, Jeffrey Maconi, about 8 laps is the buffer gap. After that, for sure going to lose a ton of spots here. They're going to lose spots regardless, just by being 2 seconds a lap slower at least. So it's going to be interesting to see who tries to play the distance game.
The counterpoint is, how much time can they make back up? Look at that. It's 30 laps to go. 2 seconds of fall off. Yeah, it's a lot of chance, but there's a massive risk of a caution flag when you have differences in tire strats. Try driving through all this right now.
Different tire strats definitely going to make it interesting. Samoon did go 2 laps down. He's also running at the back of the pack when he hit to begin with. So some of these guys aren't going to be about a lap and a half, maybe right at 2, so they won't be as far down. But, I mean, they're running 22, 23-second laps, make up 2 seconds a lap over 30 laps. It's still not enough time to get up front to the lead.
Conklin trading paint now with Freenosh. Already one near squeeze in the feet of the door by the 10. Looks like a feet of the squeeze back by Conklin. Forces the lift back. Joseph Galata also boxed in. That's a Team Conti truck trying to figure out, what do I do when both of these trucks are holding each other up?
That Casey Tucker in the catbird seat for all of this, running right behind these 3 drivers going at it. Thought about passing Galata there. Thought better of it, but we got Connor Strong also behind them. Sandro Nyhoff, a damaged truck. But here comes some guys, it looks like on fresher tires. No, they're just that far off the pace, that much better and far saving.
We've had a change on strat, and it's from one of the leaders. In fact, it is the leader, Logan Clampett's in. He's countering a pit call last time by Mercurio. Michael Frischka's in. No speeding penalties from the feed yet. But Norse Force has just indicated they are coming in over the radio. All their trucks are in this time.
I think it's too late, to be honest. Looking at the times, the laps left, I think if you were going to play a strategy, would have had to pit about 5-10 laps to seal the deal, especially if a caution comes out and they get trapped a lap down. It's going to be game-changing if a caution comes out for a lot of these guys.
Where is Mercurio going to cycle?
Coming down.
Yes,
McCandless coming down now, too.
He indicated on the radio that Mercurio, or rather McCandless, just wanted the lead lap at least. 5 bonus points for leading the lap. Not a thing in this series, but it is in the Piston Cup. As off and away goes Clampett. Where is Mercurio? He's on the banking. Mercurio zipping at full speed. Clampett loses the net lead as the rest of the drivers try and stretch it out.
And so far, no one coming down pit road. We got a couple of guys actually on there right now. Jack Mason came down, but only the top 11, 12 guys now on the lead lap. More coming down the pit, so if a caution comes out, and one of these guys stay out, they're going to top a ton of guys one lap down.
There is one driver to watch for here. It's your leader, that blue and black truck. That's Jake Matheson. Winner already this season. He's in intense saving mode. And he might be the one who will try and stay out, possibly. His teammates have pit, but the bed is almost made. The reason he might be the one. Remember Nashville and Contender a couple years ago? His crew chief then put him on 2 tires to gain track position. It nearly worked out. He had a caution 2 laps after he had to pit to be able to get back on fuel and get new tires. If his crew chief's in the air again, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go back to the Nashville strat.
Well, I mean, look at Matheson, 3 top 10s and 1 win already in the top split action here for Road to Pro. Did miss Daytona, so doesn't really have a drop we can link back on, but plus 130 to cut off, so he's sitting pretty. I mean, might as well try something different, make something happen, but I think if you're able to stay out a little bit longer and the whole race, you're going to be good to go. We did mention, though, some of those guys pit in that caution that came out right after the caution that everyone pit. Not to confuse people, but so there's some people with about 7 extra laps of fuel and tires, give or take, that did stay out. That's going to include Casey Tucker, Sandro Nyhoff, and Agnell Phillip, and not Christopher Hill, but those 3 right there.
First of those who pit, by the way, 30 seconds back still. Amongst those coming out of the pit boxes you see on screen, those are several of the Nexus machines. His own teammates, Max Brady, also came in. He's 23rd. That was a late call to go into the pit lane. That's not going to be a lot of time to get the lap back.
Not at all. Quentin Warman is the first, actually, of cars that have already pitted. So Warman pitted a lot earlier on these guys. So if everyone pits, in theory, should cycle through to the lead. Mercurio not too far behind him. Same with Clampett. Clampett right behind Mercurio. So we have a couple battles to watch for as Warman trying to navigate through the slower traffic on those fresh tires. About a second and a half faster than Matheson. So I don't think he's going to get there looking at the math.
Yeah, there's no way unless there's a caution. But there's a lot of attention to go the way you said on Warman, because right now he's the first of those who set on the fresher tires on a 4-lap undercut. You know who's chomping down on that gap and about to get a lap back? Those two. That's Mercurio and Clampett. High side, space from Matheson. A lot of it, in fact. But here's the thing, Clampett gained 3/10 on Mercurio before riding behind him to catch up and close the gap to Warman first.
Now Warman first truck back on the lead lap of that fresh rubber, so it's going to be tight. The numbers are changing every single lap, but he's going to start falling off pretty hard here too in a couple laps, as hard as he's been running. Same with Mercurio and Clampett. I don't think they're going to have anything to catch Warman if they can. So I think it's going to come down to the last couple laps. Depends how hard Matheson's pushing his truck. We got a couple guys like Diallo, like Tucker, like Nyhoff, kind of here in their own battle too on those just 5 or 6 lap pressure tires and a little bit more fuel than Matheson.
So everybody looking at the stopwatches here. 16 to go. Michael Mitchum just backed out of his strat. Yes. So that leaves Matheson, Batby, Diallo, Tucker, Nyhoff, Phillip, Christopher Hill, and Brandon Hawken on track. Hawken is about to be passed by those on fresh tires. Everybody else either topped off on a caution, has been in a crash like Tucker, or was in the back like Diallo or Batby.
Yeah, Hawken making his top split road to pro debut tonight as well. Up about 16, 17 spots, losing a handful though to these fresher tires, but still should finish inside the top 20, depending on how much the pace falls off. As you see Clampett going around him there, very tight, very dicey. A little closer than I think he would have wanted. Matheson though, 4.5 second bubble to Matthew Batby. Batby is definitely much slower than Matheson, but you got Casey Tucker, who's actually half a second quicker than their leader. Same with Nyhoff, a little bit quicker. Diallo, about the same pace. So some of these guys are actually, on that same strategy as a leader and quicker. I don't think they're going to necessarily catch him, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, they're all within about a 2-second difference on racetrack, but 4 to 5 seconds behind Matheson's truck. Everyone who pit on the tires, 16 seconds need to be closed in 12 laps. Nervous time across the field. What's going through the mind of Matheson on this, knowing he's not only hard clutching, he's got to make sure the right front doesn't pop.
Not just that, Mercurio around Warman, Clampett now passing Warman as well as Warman has fallen off big time now. Mercurio and Clampett about 2 or 3 tenths quicker. They might get to Matheson. It depends how hard he's falling off. He's running about 25 flats. He's been there the last 5 or 6 laps at least. So they're just at over a second quicker and about 14.5 seconds back. Only 10 laps to do it, 10, 11 laps. I don't think it's possible. They're going to need a big change in pace one way or another.
Mercurio's put on the afterburners. Lots of traffic this time for Clampett. He's still having a fight with Warman. In fact, he's getting held up a lot. You know who's also there? That's a teammate from Conti. Side by side, that's Joseph Galata, who is an extra lap down. Clampett lets him go, and Galata goes for the diamond to help him out. And nearly moves Warman out of the way.
Warman into the wall, almost getting squirrely down the straightaway. Galata with a lot fresher tires, and a lot more speed through the corners, able to pass these guys easy peasy despite being a lap down. So he's not, in a bad enough position, but making it look pretty good, pretty easy. So far, though, Mercurio 12.9 back, still just at a second quicker. He's running out of time, running out of laps, still not going to get there. We're not looking at a crazy strategy call for Matheson to win this, but crazy top 5 too with Batby, Tucker, Nyhoff, and Agnell Phillip. currently in their top 5. So 2, when these guys catch this top 5, I don't think they're going to be too eager to get out of the way.
4 seconds the gap now. Matheson has that cushion over his teammate Mbappe. A chance for a 1-2 for Nexus. Can Matheson hold on to pick up a second short track win of the season in RTP round 1? Remember, he made himself known by breaking through at Richmond. Can he break through on the strategy? 6.5 laps to go. Right now, Warman, Clampett, Mercurio and company are 11 seconds back. Matheson just needs the tire to survive.
Be the first first 2-time winner this season for top split action. Matheson only a couple of laps away from Destiny, still turning 25 flash. Mercurio, on the other hand, they're getting slower now, 7-8 tenths quicker. Not where they need to be. They need hope for a caution, maybe come down pit road and send them the green white checker if they can. But as of now, I don't think there's any way they can win this race.
Taking a look at some of his teammates here. Batby, Alonso's having pressure. Also in this grouping, you have Casey Tucker, who has been quicker than Matheson at times already this run. On the top off, he doesn't need a clutch and coast. Batby not giving him the space to work.
A lot of guys try and work their way around maps and get back on the lead lap, and the event and caution does come out. Your average starting spot of your top 5 right now, 21.4.
4 laps to go at the stripe. Matheson has less than 4 miles to survive in the 34 truck. Hard clutch and coast still. The gap is down to almost 3 seconds between the rest of his strategy mates.
This is the time by will be 80 laps since he pit. We talked about the fuel bubble being right at 80. Did he save enough is the big question.
He has to let by some teammates. Less than 3 miles to go. And for Jake Matheson, his return or attempt to get back to the Coke Series has been phenomenal this season. The momentum has struck not only once but twice. Just 2 laps to go. Matheson looking to try and get a second top split win of the year.
Matheson still running 25 flats. Mercurio 8 seconds back, 24 fives. Not enough time to do it on the fresher tires. Not enough laps at all. Jake Matheson rounding out, hopefully, final mile and a half.
Jake Matheson makes his way down the front straightaway. White flag in hand. Final time around. 1 to go, presented by Maconi Entertainment. A couple years ago, Jake Matheson attempted a strategy like this in Contender Series action when he needed points with Nexus. It didn't work out then on a 2-tire call at the Super Speedway. Tonight, the hard fuel save and the baby to the right front tire does work out tonight. Checker flag in hand. Jake Matheson can coast from here. He's a 2-time winner in RTP in 2024.
Battle for 3rd and 2nd between Casey Tucker and Matthew Batby. Go to Tucker as well. Nyhoff and Phillip, your top 5. So crazy top 5, crazy strategy call for a lot of these guys. And for the 2nd week in a row, Logan Clampett leads over 90 laps and doesn't win.
The top 5 all made it work. First on tires, 7th, Brian Mercurio. Matheson just getting the tire to survive to be able to become a 2-time winner this season. What a call, but not a shock if you follow the career path of Matheson. He's done this before.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have expected that one for sure. Definitely crazy strategy call. Crazy. I mean, crazy, just crazy. Everything's crazy about it. I don't think anyone expected it to work. And you ran the numbers, and I don't think anyone expected the fall off to be as much as it was for the guys on new tires. And, you know, the order rubber kind of flatlined there, and you got Nyhoff and Hawk and all kind of celebrating here.
They're celebrating for him. Confirmed, Matheson ran out on the cooldown. With that being said, post-race coverage coming up in just a few moments. It's Jake Matheson who gets the job done. His 2nd win of the season, both on short tracks. This time, the strategy works out for Matheson. We'll be back after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to the Monster Mile here on iRacing social media platforms and on Maconi Entertainment as the eNASCAR Qualifying iRacing Series has its race come to a close. Strategy decides the top 6 here at Dover. Let's take a look at how they finished out here in the next seconds. Again, all results official with us being in an official iRacing Series event. It's Logan Clampett who started off on the pole in qualifying. But if you flip over to the race trim, it's Jake Matheson who flips the script, lights it ablaze, and says, we're going to make the strategy work. He wins by 3 seconds over Casey Tucker. Tucker was on the top-off strat. Matthew Batby finishes in 3rd. Xander Nyhoff in 4th. Agnell Philp, the top 5 of note. 3 of the top 5 from Nexus and with front row backing. Christopher Hill was the last on the fuel strat to be up front. Mercurio, Warman, Clampett, and Michael Frisch were your top 10. What a topsy-turvy strategy. It took a lot of patience to get the gas. Drivers within a lap at the end, Braden.
Yeah, a lot of drivers you don't normally see inside the top 10 joining, kind of the weirdness throughout the top 20. See it, Crawford, we didn't expect him really running outside the top 10 at all. He's up with Diallo in 12th. Blake McCann, talked about him, had a great run going. He's going to finish 13th. Nathan Nicholson needed some good points. Massa Mendes for him, not too great, but not too bad either. Christopher Pfeffer, Jake Nichols, Brandon Hawkins, Kevin King, Larry Pace, and Max R. Brady were top 20. And then Dan Shamoon in that 21st spot. He caused all this chaos, all the controversy, if you want to call it. He was the first guy to pit under green flag conditions and create a chain that unfortunately led to demise for Clampett and others, but victory for Matheson. Then you go and look to Conklin, Freenos, Strong, Jack Mace, Matthew Morton. All these guys, 24th, 25th on the lead lap, except for Morton, then Michael Mitchum, Joseph Galata, Justin Smith, Mitchell DeLong, Daniel Smallwood, Eugene Mazganov, Joel Blue, Andrew Navarro, and Philip Groner, all finishing 1 lap or multiple laps down.
And once again, that's top to bottom at your official race results in Sim. Of note, second split is currently still in action with 3 to go. A chance for the top 2 splits to go Nexus way. Connie Roshak is currently that leader with under 3 miles to go. But the driver who does get the win tonight, Jake, you're the first 2-time winner in top split this season. How does it feel to break through yet again?
It feels awesome. I am so glad that went green. These things never go green like that at Dover, and it's just awesome. I'm so glad it went green. Was able to save just enough fuel. I was sputtering down the backstretch after the checkered flag, but still had enough just to make it to the end there. My teammates Matthew Batby and Sander, they both saved enough too. They got 3-4, so good job to them.
An exciting finish to say the very least, Jake. I believe we lost you in the final couple words there in the midst of the excitement, but I will ask you this on the strat. What went through the mind of trying to go with said strategy and making it work? Just 7 of you tried it. Top 6 ended up making on the fuel strat barely by a couple seconds.
Yeah, sorry, my microphone went out there. I'm on a different microphone now. But yeah, it was awesome that they were able to make it to the end. My teammates, Sander and Matthew, they made it to the end there, able to save just enough. I was sputtering down the backstretch. So, you love to see it. So happy it went green. Thank you guys for putting this broadcast on. Love Road to Pro. Love Dover. And yeah, we're going to get after it next week. Or sorry, 2 weeks from now.
Yes, indeed. We'll let you get to the preparation for that as things are now interesting for you and for many others. We'll see what happens next time out at Darlington.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick before I go, I want to thank everyone at Nexus Esports for putting an absolutely amazing truck together tonight. Also want to thank Front Row Motorsports, Infinity Communications Group, and again, you guys for putting this on. Love to see it.
Once again, Jake Matheson coming away with the win tonight. Casey Tucker. He finishes top 3 in one of these top splits. He's been one of the biggest movers for years in this split. He's with Braden Laster on the strat.
Now, Casey, looking at the results all season long, only one finish inside the top 20. That was the 19th at Texas. You played a crazy strategy call and bring it home second. Talk us through your night.
Yeah, I just I topped off on the last caution, just hoping I could pull something out. I've been terrible in qualifying all year. Me, not us as a team, Legacy. I have just not performed in qualifying. But put us back there again tonight. Got lucky with with that last caution, topped the fuel off, and pretty much from there we were good. I mean, I didn't have to do a whole lot of saving once I topped off. It was pretty much just run a pace and then kind of go towards the end once we know we're in a good spot. So it was honestly not as challenging as you would think to make it to the end after topping off there.
That you played a different strategy call, and you look at your point situation coming into the night. You were 268 below the cutoff, only 713 points total after drop weeks and everything included. You got over 400 points tonight, so you improved by over 60%. Kind of talk us through, only 2 races left, how this helps your momentum and hopefully helps build a road to round 2.
Yeah, man, honestly, it's been a rough year. Like I said, the qualifying's really put me in a bad spot the whole year. We've had a few good races where I've been able to move forward, but usually late race cautions cause chaos, or we had a lot of plate tracks to start the year, so it's kind of hard to really do much there once you're in the back. And it's nice to have the momentum going forward. I think I finished like 19th and 20th and 21st in every single race this year, so that's been pretty much my lockdown spot. And then we kept the symmetry going with the 22 truck tonight by finishing second. So I can't get away from 2s apparently. There's something with that this year. But yeah, I mean, Darlington, I love Darlington. It's probably one of my favorite tracks and one of my better tracks. Passing is obviously going to be hard there. Going to need to step it up in qualifying, and hopefully I can get a good start and then carry this momentum into there, and then take it on the rest of the last race at I believe it's Charlotte if I remember right, and hopefully get a good finish there as well.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your second place run tonight. Definitely a much needed points gain for you, and hopefully we see you once again in the podium spot.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all putting on the broadcast. Got to thank everybody back at Legacy that's put a hand on this truck. It was a great truck. It didn't get to show it tonight, in my hands at least. So I appreciate everybody, and they've put in a lot of work all year, and I haven't really been able to help them out as much as I'd like to. So I'd like to thank everybody back at the Legacy shop. They have done an incredible job all year, and they really haven't gotten the rewards they deserve from me or really anybody in Top Split other than maybe Smallwood. Smallwood's been pretty good.
All right. Once again, congratulations, and hopefully we see you soon.
All right, thank you.
That was Casey Tucker.
That was indeed Casey Tucker.
Was it? Do we know that for a fact? Was it 100% sure?
I'm 99.85% sure, but we can tell you this in second split. Nexus just got a 1-2 in terms of top split victories tonight. Second split, Connie Roshak just took the checker flag on FDN. Congratulations to Connie Roshak. His teammate, a part of a 1-3 in top split running order, Matthew Batby. Matthew, what was the nervousness like in your truck on the strat?
Oh, dude, it was insane. I think we had 5 laps that I needed to save there with like 20 to go, or not 20 to go, but along that run, and that was insane. I mean, if you told me at the beginning of qualifying that I was gonna finish third, I would have told you were crazy. So yeah, I just can't thank these guys enough. They build amazing sets, dude.
I'll ask you this as well. It seemed like there was a tricky time on the amazing set. It was an amazing race set. What happened in qualifying, and how tricky was it to rebound because you had to make up 31 spots to get to the podium?
Yeah, I got the hard charger award. First one. It yeah, I think the track went up a degree, and it plowed really really hard in 3 and 4. It did not grip at all. So should have went lap 1. Went lap 2. Yeah, just a slight mistake on my part.
Well, on that note, then, Matthew, once congratulations on the victory. Congrats to your team as well. Top 2 splits. Your team's in victory lane.
Yeah, this team is on rails this season. If we're gonna get people in Coke, can't thank Hudson enough for keeping me back, and my family if they're watching, and all of my friends and family, and I just praise the Lord. It worked out.
Matthew Batby making it work out. A part of a strong night for the Nexus Bank machines here in RTP. I'd like to thank the whole top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on iRacing and on Maconi Entertainment. Braden, strategy critical tonight. Matheson proves it. The whole top 5 proves it. All the way to 6 proves it. Your thoughts on tonight?
I mean, there's no sense to really encapsulate everything that happened tonight. We had a crazy strategy call, and it put these guys in that desperation, position where they need points. They're going to try something a little bit crazy, a little bit different. And then you look at the schedule too. Only a couple weeks left. Darlington and Charlotte. I think things are only going to get crazier from here.
And remember, the next time out is going to be a part of the craziness because this was our hardest track yet. You know what's next? Place too tough to tame. Darlington with the truck. Lots of throwback paints probably tomorrow, or rather next time out. But it feels like it's going to be right to tomorrow with how much work needs to be put on.
Yeah, for sure. Coming in between a mile and a half. Darlington and Trek, that your mom kind of warned you about. Very tough to tame, very difficult for these guys. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Darlington straps at the end of it.
Once again, May the 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern, your start time. Be sure to tune in there. But on that note, and after a night of intense action once more, and intense strategy games, we wrap things up here tonight. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brandon Laster. Bobby Cooper was our producer. Thanks to all those watching tonight's racing action. We hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks once again to the entire staff for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you when we go to Darlington, the place too tough to tame, in May.
Want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.